Okay, so this is CCI part two. Hello.
Hey, how you
So, how are you?
doing? Doing good.
Good. So, today we're going to talk about basically what I found from all the answers that you gave me last time. Um, and what I did was I took all those answers and kind of plugged them in on a worksheet that's set up sort of like a story. And so, like, it has like your setting, yourself, you're the main character of your story, and then like a formula for success. And what this is just kind of something that I found in what you said. This could be wrong, and I want you to feel free to kind of, say yes or no on the things that I'm throwing out. And
Okay.
this isn't a success, success. This isn't a guide to a career. It's just kind of like what the themes I'm seeing in your life, which might help you pick a career that's suitable for what you want.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're looking for is like the person that you want to be in career, and the type of setting you want to work in, and what you may want to do within that. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one, your preoccupation. So that's based on your early recollections that we talked about. And those recollections were about, your sister when she was first born, um, when you got your arm stuck at the playground and you had to have the firefighters and police come help you out, as well as the story about when you left your class in kindergarten and kind of, walked around. And so, what I kind of saw in there was that you may be concerned about using your skills to help others and solve problems. I especially saw that in the story with your sister, when you were talking about how you're introducing her to the world. She kind of came the first day she came home. And I saw that a lot with the story about you in kindergarten when you said that you were kind of walking around, figuring things out yourself. Like I've seen you as wanting to be more autonomous and a problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound about right? Or
Yeah, it does. It actually does. Yeah. Elaborate a little bit more on like the sister thing. I feel like it's like you said, a problem, like a problem solver, or just inviting her, informing her about the world and stuff like that. Um, so
okay,
yeah.
good. So now we're going to go into the next one, the self, and this is based on the role models you had. So you talked about your uncle, you talked about a coach you had, as well as Superman. And so the kind of theme that I saw in those three people was that you becoming someone who can overcome anything, and someone who's carrying genuine figures in others' lives. And so even in these two, I'm still seeing that theme of like helping others and serving others as something that you might be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So that sound about right?
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah,
Okay.
like right on the nose.
Good. All right, so the next one is the setting, and that's what I got from the television shows that you talked about, Naruto and Walking Dead, and Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
So from those shows, I kind of got the idea that you're wanting something where you can work with other people and kind of overcome obstacles and challenges as a team. And so what I saw when you talked about the Dragon Ball Z story, I believe, was like him having a family, and helping him out. I also heard that in The Walking Dead, where they're just trying to like make it day by day, and
Mm-hmm.
different obstacles come at them, and they're finding ways to solve them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of see that in the way you were talking, in this like kind of need to work with others.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next part is a script. And so the script was basically your favorite story from a book that you told me, a book or movie. Your movie was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You kind of talked about an innocent kid who goes into a new world. He makes these genuine friendships, and him and his friends kind of look out for each other while they're navigating their way through this new magical world. And I kind of felt like that went along with your setting really perfectly. That you're trying to work with people, and you are like kind of learning to work together and solve problems as a
Mm-hmm.
team. So, and this is basically the places that you would like to work. So, and here I wrote, therefore, in these places, you'd want to create genuine relationships and learn new things. So, I know I'm saying a lot, so I'm just gonna go back over it real quick.
Okay.
So, right now we have who you are becoming. We said someone who can overcome anything. We have the places that you like to be. You want to do activities such as work together, overcome obstacles, And then you have in these places you want to create genuine relationships and learn new things. And so from those, we have a success formula. So what we do is we put together your setting, we put together your script, and then we put together kind of a little mission statement based on um, what you've said. So right now, I'll read it out. I know it's going to be from your perspective, so feel free to jump in. Right now, it says, I'll be most happy and successful when I'm able to be a caring helper and positive figure in places where people work together and overcome challenges so that I can create genuine relationships and continue to learn. How does that sound for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I know I said a mouthful,
A
so
lot.
it can be a lot. So let me know if there's any places that you felt really strongly about, or you're kind of like, I don't know.
I feel really strongly about the part where you were saying, um, family oriented, so team building as far as having somebody in your corner to help you
Mhm.
overcome.
Yeah.
But then even like with the other show, like I said Naruto, I think it was, yeah, Naruto. Um, it kind of like that was one thing that also kind of a big thing too is just against all odds,
Mhm.
like with him he's an outcast almost,
Yeah.
and but with the team, with what I'm saying, with his
Mhm.
positivity, it brought people around him to love and care, and then with his team or whatever, against
Mhm.
all odds, they can survive. So like I think he really hit it
Yeah.
on the nose with that one. Like that was correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so what I'm seeing or hearing from you is that you kind of want to be this person who is not afraid of a challenge, despite how hard it might be, and you have like this desire to be with people, kind of working that challenge together. Um, I see you as a people person. I see you as kind of like really headstrong and ready to go and face the next challenge. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So, and that's the theme that I've kind of seen weaved in throughout your entire story. So the last part is self advice. That's your motto. And so your motto is just your best advice for dealing with any career concerns. So to apply your formula, the best advice you can give, I can give myself is to, and that's where your motto comes in. Friendship is essential to the soul, which is a really strong one. And I think it does tie back into everything you're saying with these relationships. And I kind of get the feeling that you feel that you can do anything, everything's possible as long as you have these relationships with you and to help you carry through.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you like that, this is for you to keep to
That's
take
for
with
me.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And so, like I said, that's just the person who you want to be in career, the kind of place you want to work, and what you might want to do. And like I said before, it's really broad. We're not here to tell you, you should go be A, B, or C. We're here to kind of show you different ways to get to where you might want to be, just based on the themes that I'm seeing in your life that you told me about.
Good.
Okay.
I like it.
So we're also going to talk about some of the assessments you took. And when I was reading through your assessments, I was really seeing a common theme based on what I found here too. So I'm going to go through, briefly talk about what it came up with and how I think kind of matches up with the stories we've been kind of talking about the past couple of days.
Okay.
So the first one is the Myers-Briggs personality type report. I know you read through these two since you took them.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about that? We have you down as the ESFJ, sorry, which is extrovert, sensor, feeler, and perceiver. I mean, judger. So what are you thinking about that?
Mm-hmm.
What you read so far?
What I thought about, I think the only one that kind of like didn't represent me as my character, kind of,
Mhm.
or it kind of did in a sense, but the last one, the Judge.
Mhm.
So that one, I didn't really agree too much with because
Mhm.
it said that I wouldn't be able to wait. What is it? Oh,
Yeah.
where
It's
is it? This one. So it was like I probably would cause like workplace confrontations
mhm.
or um, being a control freak.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really don't really see myself doing that kind of
Yeah.
thing, or whatnot. Yeah.
It sounds like you're not really finding yourself matching up with these labels that
Mm-hmm.
this is giving you. And I can understand that. These assessments, they are kind of titles, labels, but one thing is they all are on a scale, for the Myers Briggs, so nobody's. I mean, there might be people, but it's not saying that you're completely a judge or completely a perceiver.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see you're kind of uncomfortable with some of the parts of this judge, and they don't really match with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, something to take with it is that the explanations they give, I think, are more of 100% judger, so they don't always fit exactly what they're saying. So,
Do people actually get 100% something?
I'm actually not sure to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't seen that, but I feel like it could happen.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's some other things you had on here too. We have you as an extrovert,
Mm-hmm.
and that just kind of says you're friendly, talkative. Extroverts might be like the social butterfly in the group, and you work well with others and in groups and things like that. And that kind of goes with what we saw in your CCI.
Mm-hmm.
That you may want to work with other people. You may be like kind of a more a people person. So
Mm-hmm. Tell me what CCI is.
the career construction.
Oh, okay, that's
And
right. Okay,
that,
okay, okay.
yeah. So this is your yeah. So it's okay. So the next one you have on here is your sensor versus intuitive, and we have you down as a sensor, more sensor than intuitive, um, and so that just means you might be more patient, realistic. You kind of see the bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you like look at things on a larger scale.
Mm-hmm.
You prefer like concrete problems that can really be solved. Um, versus like kind of abstract things.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes
I agree
sense.
with that. With this one right here, it
Mhm.
was saying that I may not be very creative or artistic.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really agree with that
Yeah.
one touch. So.
I'm saying you're not really matching with some of like what they're saying.
But I mean, everything else was like, yeah,
Mhm.
like yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And even like this part with the weakness, it was like, maybe sometimes we get the big picture. Yeah, sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I think I said that wrong earlier when I said that you see the bigger picture. I got confused with the other one. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, so the next one is the thinkers versus feelers. We have you down as a thinker. I mean, I'm sorry, a feeler, 60% feeler. And so feelers may believe more in compassion and empathy. Um, and they're kind of like more looking. Some of your strengths might be that you look to see all aspects of things and of people. You're moral, guided by empathy and compassion. And I really did see that, especially in a lot of your stories. With your sister, um, talking about your role models, and even your self-advice, your motto. It's more about people and very people oriented, and so that's a strength of a feeler. And then we did talk about the judger versus perceiver already.
Yeah.
So the Myers-Briggs personality, um, a lot of people do take it, but like I said, none of these assessments are anything that's like set in stone. So, so
Like aptitude placement test or something. Kind
yeah.
of.
Um, So this one is your skills profile report. So this is basically just like the type of skills you might have in a work environment, and where you fall on them. And so I'm going to let you look at that. And so the first thing is just some of the jobs you might notice, some of the jobs that your skills match up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it shows you the match score right there.
Oh,
Hmm.
architecture. Thought about skill for architecture
You
originally.
thought about architecture?
Originally. Mm. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So um, that And so the next one they have on here is your interest, personality interest. So this is your interest inventory is what you took. And so there are 6 clusters in the interest inventory. So you have realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And so you might fall stronger on one than the other. And so the test you took just points out your primary and secondary interest level. So your primary is investigative. And so words people might use to describe you might be smart, analytical, You don't conform, you're independent, open minded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, we've kind of seen talk about in your CCI, that, you're curious.
Mm-hmm.
So for investigative people, they might want a job that focuses on learning and doing that like as a lifelong process. So by nature, you're a really curious person, and you like to solve problems. Does that fit well for you? Because I can see it, in the stories you've told me.
Mm-hmm.
If
It does. It actually does feel
And so the next one we have is artistic. So I know, like on the last one, you were like, it says I'm not artistic. And like I said,
like.
so like I said before, like they aren't all set in stone, and this
Mm-hmm.
is one, and there's another, and so like as a person, you're multifaceted, multi-layered. So one assessment can't tell you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
These are just like general guides that might show you something that you may not have seen or you may be very well aware of.
Okay.
Um, so the next one says artistic. So some might describe you as creative or idealistic. There's independent again. Um, and artistic people like to create, enjoy art. They have appreciation for music, drama, and all the aesthetics, beauty, creativity. Um, and so does that seem like something that?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
Saw me over there complaining about it earlier. I mean, it does
Yeah.
sound artsy and whatnot.
Yeah, it seemed like you were really upset with that assessment of yourself thing.
Kind of hurt.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really hard to hear sometimes, especially when you feel like that's a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why these assessments are kind of hard sometimes because the descriptions can be kind of cut and dry. And of course, we as people aren't cut
Oh,
and
because I
dry.
can I ask? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not.
You can.
So you said there were six. So okay. So what is like conventional or like would social just be like what I'm saying like almost like you said an extrovert like a social butterfly and then
Mm-hmm.
conventional enterprising would be like a job like what I'm saying like you're more like business minded
Um,
or
so there's definitions for all of them on the next page. And so social probably more of the social butterfly. This
mm-hmm.
one tells you exactly kind of where you
Oh
fall.
okay.
And so they're more opposites, sort of. Doesn't mean they're exactly opposite, but they kind of like,
Oh, so
if that
like
makes sense.
this is me.
This is you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So you're higher on investigative and you're higher on artistic, but you're very high on social as well. Just it's not as high as artistic, but they're almost neck and neck if you can see.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so one doesn't mean you don't have the other. It just means you fall a little higher on this one.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you.
Yep. Um,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. And so on here, I'll let you have this. What it does is it compares your interests, because either just this is just a test that had your interest in it and how they compare with other people. So if it says your social interest is higher than the average female and much higher than the average male social interest, whereas your conventional interest is not. It's much lower. Um, and so people with conventional interests really like to follow procedures and routines. They kind of like to know when they go into work what exactly is going to happen that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting from you that you might want to go into work learning more and experiencing more. So that might not really sit well with you in a work environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like I said, I should say that these are all work environment. So we're talking about work. So some of these might fit with you personally outside of work, but when you're at work, you want something else.
Okay.
You know. Um, and so the next one is your values at work. Um, and so this kind of talks about what would give you job satisfaction. And so these kind of predict that for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 6 core work values, and this one's just going to tell you where you fall on each one, based on stars. So your first two are achievement. And so people who score high on the achievement cluster, it says look for jobs that let them know they use their best abilities. So it might be important to you to have a strong feeling of accomplishment, that you're doing something, that you can kind of see the progress that you're making in
Mm-hmm.
a job. And then the next one is support, and that kind of goes along with what we talked about earlier, is that you want a job where the workers are comfortable with the management style and there's a lot of support, on both sides. So whether it's management or the people under. There's cohesiveness and working together. Does that
Hmm.
sound like something that you would like?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you need that in the working environment for
Hmm.
sure.
And so the next ones on here are a little lower, but I'll let you know what the other things are is relationships. Your score on there is a 3. Working conditions is a little lower. Recognition and independence is your lowest. And so you can kind of take these as you want, you know.
Hmm.
All right, so what I did on this one was because you said that you're going through a career change right now,
Hmm.
I went ahead and printed out the jobs that kind of match up with your composite score of all your tests. So what the website went ahead and did was take the scores of all your tests and find the jobs that most match up with those. And I did it for a 4-year degree because that's what you have right now, as well as a graduate degree.
Hmm.
In case I didn't know if you wanted to go back to school to do more, or if you wanted to stick with what you had. I wanted to give you kind of more options. And these aren't, every job that you'd be suitable for, but
Hmm.
you might find common themes in these jobs that you think you like. So on the 4-year degree, there's a lot of teachers on here that I'm noticing, and that might give you the satisfaction of working with a team. It might give you the kind of satisfaction as feeling like you're helping others.
Hmm.
Does that sound like?
That sounds like something that like everyone keeps telling me to do, but personally don't want to
Yeah.
do.
So it doesn't really
Um,
match what you want or what
yeah,
you see for yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see myself. I mean, I can see myself being a teacher. I just don't want to do that. You know, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Sounds like
that's
that
kind of
job doesn't
crazy.
really seem to mesh up with your goals for yourself,
Yeah,
if I'm correct. Okay.
that's really what it is. It's, they don't really mesh well with like the plan, the goal, the goals I have planned for myself. But it's crazy that that's what is on here,
Hmm.
and it's actually really pretty consecutively
Yeah.
consecutive on there, like of being a teacher or educator of some sort.
And I mean, these are jobs that you may find other careers or jobs that have those same qualities.
Hmm.
If it's being a teacher that you seem to be against, you might want a different job with the exact same qualities
Hmm.
of that. So yeah, there's some other ones a little further down. Um, I think the first one that you have on here that's not a teacher is a park naturalist. Um, and you may not want to work in parks, but there might be something in this job that matches with your interests, with your personality. The other people who have this job have similar
Hmm.
interests and personalities and values as you. So that's something to kind of look at. And so I also did the scores for the graduate degree or higher. And so the first one on here is a dietitian or nutritionist. That might give you the satisfaction of helping someone else, um, working in a team. Um, and then it goes on with a few. And like I said before, these are just what the computer came up
The
with. There are lots of
possibilities.
careers, yeah,
Okay.
that you could go. And since you're seeing the CCI that we did, I just wanted to make sure that you kind of had that you felt better about knowing where you're going next.
Hmm.
So what are you thinking?
So what I'm thinking is
Not to put you on the spot.
yeah. I mean, what I'm thinking is like I could look into some of these positions and stuff like that, like to see where they are, and then like you said, like maybe find something that can go along the same guidelines of
Mhm.
teaching, but without teaching,
Mhm.
something like that I could like enjoy doing, or make a plan with make a plan with for the future. So,
Mhm.
um, I mean that's why it's kind of crazy that the personality exams and stuff like that. How even what's it called, the CCI, or
Mhm.
what even how all it kind of ties together
Yeah.
off of like random. Oh, it's not really random, but like for me it was kind of random.
Yeah. It feels
Like
like
yeah,
when you're seeing it all like this
yeah, exactly.
together, it does feel kind of like, oh, I didn't know all this
Could tie
information.
together
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So.
And so like I just wanted to make sure that you felt good about this and you felt like you know, were ready to do whatever the next step for you is and make sure I can help you with that.
I feel good about it.
Okay. So do you, I know before when we talked about what you need from me, you said you're making a career change. You're just kind of trying to see, I think you said, um, where to go next with that.
Mm.
Did I help with any of that at all?
Oh, definitely, definitely did. Especially with this part right here, with
Mm-hmm.
the different careers that I could potentially be
Okay.
going into.
Okay. So, I do feel like that you've learned a lot about yourself, or maybe not even learned, but you've realized stuff maybe was more latent.
Mm.
And so I'm wondering if we only have a couple more minutes left. I'm wondering if there's anything else that I can do for you.
Mm. Honestly, no, no. If there's a way that I could probably go back and redo it, redo the exam to see if I have any more other options, like jobs that they think. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess it would be kind of like cheating. So.
It seems like you really are not really meshing with the jobs they gave you. But
Mm.
like we said before, that's
It's just
perfectly
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay to feel that way. These aren't all the jobs in the world, of course.
Mm. But I mean, nah. I mean, you pretty much hit all the bases. So I mean, I really appreciate the direction that you kind of have like steered me into. You know. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, it was nice working with you. Thank you for, you know, telling me your story.
appreciate you having me.